Well, the Toy Tractor Times is here at the 2012 St. Louis Farm Toy Show with Brian Long, who has several custom and scratch-built 1/64th items he's going to share with us.
Correct. The first item is start off as a Ertl John Deere 8530 Authentic. I went ahead and took the front wheels off of it and actually stretched them out for just singles on it and stretched it out on 40-inch centers to make it more like a cotton tractor. I added my own custom red ball saddle tanks and made a scratch-built bracket for it. I didn't like the way the Ertl, the range that the Ertl hit, 3-point hitch didn't work, so I went ahead and made some modifications to mine and added one of Moore's quick hitches to it to make it function a little bit better.
And one thing, if you don't mind turning around real quick, I would point out too is that every 30 series tractor had the triangle on the back, up by the cab, except for the 8530, which has it on the 3-point hitch, and that was the model Ertl made 1/64. So you also made that change.
I just went ahead and put it on the cab because I didn't want to make the bracket because it'd get knocked off on that quick hitch.
Yep.
The next piece is this is a Bigham Brothers Power Till ripper better. This is Bigham Brothers are made out of Lubbock, Texas, and this is mainly for ripping and subsoiling and for cotton. And this one's actually an 8-row 40-inch toolbar.
So you need a pretty big tractor to get
Correct.
that in
I mean, the 8530 is almost too small for it, but I thought they looked well and went well together.
Sure. Well, and then we got a nice cotton picker here.
Yeah,
cotton stripper, probably, right?
This is John Deere 740 mounted cotton stripper. Unfortunately, mounts were broken loose by somebody at the show, but that kind of thing happens. And the 740 was the last tractor mounted cotton stripper that John Deere produced. Due to its own popularity, because the operator always had to look behind him to make sure the units were on the row, it wasn't very comfortable for the operators, and it actually flopped for John Deere.
Well, it's still a neat model. They made it up to 91, somewhere in there?
I believe so. It was the early 90s.
Then you got some nice black stripe tractors here in 64th.
This is actually the first Ertl casting of the 66 series. On these right here, I went ahead and added tractor fabs, front weights and weight brackets, added front wheels and tires off a 1086, and I added the steering arms. It does not steer, but I went ahead and made it look like it could, just to get a little extra detail. And this one also has the 40-gallon belly tank on it as well.
Okay. And then you also have a little bit of an awning here, keep the sun off the driver on the...
Correct. The canopy was actually, from the original stock, but I had to scratch build the rock bars for it. Okay. And on this one, I added the TA lever, the transmission levers, the hydraulic levers, even the lever underneath to adjust the seat. Added the clutch pedals and the brake pedals as well.
Okay.
And the flasher bars, and one of Moore's is 3-point hitches, and it actually functions.
You are definitely raising the bar of what's out there for 64th customs.
It's what it takes these days.
And then we have this one with the awning over here.
This is the exact replica of a 1066 black stripe I grew up working with when I was in high school, and it's got almost the exact same detailing as a 14 does. But the main thing I wanted to try different on this was an actual buggy top, and the top of it's actually made from paper. I made this in about 15 minutes, and it was just kind of a quick try to see what I can do. And it actually turned out pretty well. And the next one will be better.
I know a lot of people that would like to get something that nice in 15 minutes. That is very cool.
We're working on it. Like I said, this also has the movable 3-point hitch.
Now, also, I guess you got some cotton module builders back here.
Correct. These are module builders, and these are actually built by Tom Hicks and sold by Brad McPherson. And these are both crust buster versions. One is the early 2000s orange, and the other one is the later green.
Then we've got looks like maybe a 7810 two-wheel drive.
This is 7810. I stripped it down, filled in the seams, added new weights to the front, the steering rods. I had a lot of problems with the cab. After I detailed the cab and installed it, the super glue actually smoked and fogged the glass after I did it, and I wasn't able to pull it apart and take it off again. So
well, it still looks good. You can see levers in there and everything else.
And this is actually like a late version of the 7810, and then on the late versions they had the flasher bars on there.
Okay.
And it also has a Moore's quick 3-point hitch with quick hitch on it.
That's great. And then this one's definitely got a lot of talk on the Toy Tractor Times. It's a decked out, versatile 2425. And that is one mean looking 4-wheel drive.
This one started as a scale model. I believe it was a New Holland 9882. I just wasn't satisfied with it. I knew John Schomburg had built a blue versatile 2425, and I liked what John did with it. But I was like, I'm going to go with a different version. Since versatiles have become pretty popular in the toy world these days, it's like, well, I'll go ahead and do a versatile version. I stripped the tractor down to bare metal. I actually ground out the front of the grill and added a ribbed piece of styrene in there, so it actually gives the grill texture. It also cut it out and recessed the headlights in the front of the hood.
That's a great tractor, and you got some nice detail on the back here too.
Correct. Made all the weights to go on the back of it and all the hydraulic hoses.
That's great.
And the lights, and actually it's got 320 grit black sandpaper for like the no slip grip
on
the rear of it.
That's a mean machine. Got the front steps
and toolbox on the other side. It's kind of hard to see, but it's even got the handle on the side of the hood.
Wow. Now also back here, which are great for big 4-wheel drives, are some Landau discs, and
these were built by Matt Hollingshead. They're both twin rigs. They're both the 6230 36-foot model Landau disc. Matt did a great job on these. This one right here actually has Tractor Fab's new blades, and the blades are just outstanding, and Matt's craftsmanship is undoubtedly outstanding. And the second one was actually used. He actually used the Ertl disc gains, which with Matt's work, it looks great. I was very satisfied with him, very pleased.
And on the implement scale, then it looks like we also have a nice big Chisel Plow here, a Will Rich.
Correct. This was made by Jacob Larson, and I picked this up from him a couple years at the national show. And Jacob, for as young as he is, he does incredible work. And I was actually glad to be there and actually buy this and add it to my collection.
It looks great, and then of course Brian Long is a big Steiger fan, and he's got a fleet of Steigers here that we'll just kind of look at briefly. We've got a 9390 and that with duals, and a 9390 with triples, which they were the big horses from about 1996 until 2001 in the Case IH line. And these are something you've hand built, right?
Correct. These are the actual base frame is a scale models from a 9370, but I added my new custom kit, which includes the new hood, the new side panels, the new rear end, the articulation joint, and the fenders on it. And I also made it to where this unit articulates as well as it oscillates.
And then you got the full set of weights in the back, and
correct. And it also has a swinging drawbar on it.
That is nice. And now is the triple unit pretty much the same? But
triple unit, it's identical. Yeah. The only difference in it is just the wheels on it.
Then the Steiger 335 was kind of known as the baby Steiger, and that was offered in the last couple of years up until 2011, and then it was replaced by the Steiger 350 in the new Tier 4 generation.
Yes, the body is actually done by Dan Severson, and Dan's a good friend of mine, and he did the body work for me. And I told him to leave the decals and everything like that. So just do the body work, and I'll do the rest of the detailing. So the only wheels and tire combo I really liked was the ones off the new Authentic. They're a little bit tall for this tractor, but I was like, it's a row crop, it'll look okay. Custom made the decals for it. The red doesn't quite match, but
is that better?
The quality came out pretty decent on them, so I went with that.
And that's a 2008 50th anniversary edition.
Correct. This is I actually like the decal on it, and I like the way it looks.
Sure.
And I added the flasher bar and the two side mirrors on it.
Very nice. And then, of course, green. Everybody thinks of Steiger as the green ones, and you've got a open frame, very nicely scratch-built Panther 3. Is that a ST 325?
This is a 350 with the 903 Cummins in it.
Great.
This is actually probably about a 5 or 6 year old build, but I don't think I brought it here before. I can't quite remember. Scratch-built Cummins 903 V8 engine in it. Made it with the turbo, the radiator, and the radiator fan in it.
That's a nice tractor, and I mean the cab's got all the levers in it, and it's
It's even got the cup holes drilled out.
It's a good way to pass the day with a cup of coffee, right?
Yes.
Now then, the end of the era for Steiger was the 1000 series, and these were, introduced in 1982 and went right up into 86 when Case International took over.
These models are actually were made ahead of their time. These are the models that Case International, after buying out Steiger, would make well into almost 2000, I believe. The first model is a KP 1360, and the wheels and tires on that, it has 20.8 R38 triples on it, and I used a scale models CP 1400 for the main frame, and I scratch built the hood, and then I scratch built the cab as well, because the cab was too crude and I wanted it to be more squared up so I can get the cab glass to actually fit in it a lot better.
That's great. Now, which model is back here?
This is an early line 1000 version, and the main way you can tell it's an early version is it has the actual bend in the hood, and it has the side louvers on the hood.
Okay.
And it also has the squared up rear cab post on it instead of the 45-degree angles on the rear of the cab. And
Okay.
also the battery boxes are on the rear of the cab.
Well, and of course, John Deere is a big competitor in the four-wheel drive line too, and there's a couple sitting here as well.
This is the John Deere 9630. I wanted to fill the seam on it, so I completely stripped it down to bare metal, filled the seam, added Moore's new weights on it, so it's actually not the pyramid-looking weights that come on a lot of them. I added the control levers in the cab. Unfortunately, when you strip it off, the decals also come with it, so I had to make some new decals. The model number came out a little bit too big, but if they were any smaller than that, you couldn't hardly tell what model it was. Another thing I added was I didn't want to add the weights on the wheels, so I went ahead and added like John Deere does between the fenders. Had to cut the two brackets out, mount the weight, and put the brackets back in. I also did a little cleaning up on the rear end on the drawbar area, filled in the gap, and then made the drawbar a little bit more realistic. It also comes with the flashers, the side mirrors that actually fold in, all the handrails.
That's a great tractor. And now is there another 9630 parked back here?
This is a 9530. This is the first version of that. I didn't take the time and fill the seam on this one. This is actually kind of a trial one.
Okay.
But this has actually got smaller tires on it. But the main difference on this one here that I did is I added Moore's as a working 3-point hitch on it.
And then, a lot of farms, they have these big tractors and pull big implements, and one that's sitting here is the Wishick disc, and this thing is like a moldboard plow, and it gets in corn stalks or any other crop. I've seen it plow down 8-foot tall Sudan grass and just keep on going, leaving a level path.
This disc was built by German Kinsman, also known as Big Iron Farms. Jeremy did a great job on this. It's all scratch built. And I picked this up from Jeremy last year, and Jeremy didn't have the decals made for it, so when I got it home, I made the Wishick decals for it, and I ran the hydraulic hoses on it.
Very nice. Well, Brian, thank you for sharing all these great customs and here at the St. Louis show, and we appreciate all the articles you do on Toy Tractor Times, and we can't wait to see what comes next out of your shop.
Well, I enjoy it, Jason.